Well, hello everyone, and welcome once again to our next codon ring, the Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire consists of gene keys 1 and 14 and is brought to you by Hebrew number 15, also known as Samek. Just a word of warning, I am having an allergy episode. I've had plenty of medicine, so I'm a little drugged up, but I hope I can make it through without sneezing or having to pause to blow my nose. So let's get through this pretty quickly. So gene keys 1 and 14. Gene key 1 is already in progress. It started November 5th and will go through the 10th. And gene key 14 is November 17th through the 21st. So this Ring of Fire and Samek is all about our internal light and the unending resource of light that we have available to us in our inner being. So this unending light is also represents our vital energy, our life force energy. And that by tapping in and staying attuned to our inner being, we can have limitless energy and resources. And of course, when our light is shining, when we are tapped into that level of awareness of looking within, and then our own light shines through us. And of course, when our light shines, we are beautiful to others, but we also see beauty out into the world. And of course, when our light is shining and we're tapped within, then we have excessive, if not bountiful amounts of energy. And that's what these two gene keys, their Siddhic levels are: beauty and bounteousness. So unending light and unending resources and vital life force. That's what this transit, this codon ring, and this Hebrew letter is all about. So let's show you a picture of Samek. Here. And there you go. It's a beautiful, let me see here. Let me get rid of some things that popped up. Lovely. So Samek's root meaning means support, or to lean upon that which is supportive, and that thing that is the balancer of things. So if you take a look at Samek, let me move this picture. You see, once again, it is a beautifully round, full circle. And this letter represents, because it is fully rounded, it doesn't have any horizontal or vertical lines. It is not a physical letter. It is a cosmic letter that isn't able to come down into the physical world for creation. I'll talk about that in a second. So it's a circular letter representing unity, completion, and circuitry. And this circuitry means it is a spinning energy. So Samek is spinning energy, and it is represented by the Ouroboros, which is the serpent biting its own tail. And so this, of course, represents the unending light force or life force that is in a constant state of death and rebirth. And the story about, remember the creation story I talked about, the Hebrew, all the letters were vying. God wanted to know which of the letters can come down into the physical world and help create the world. And all the letters were coming up and saying, yes, I could do it, and here's why. Well, Samek did, and the God had to say, no, Samek, you are much too powerful and too much of a balancing force, because the light of Samek, the light of your inner self, your true being, is so powerful that it, and so fiery that it can decimate any darkness that is anywhere in the world. And it is such a balancing force that if you were to come down and create and be a part of the physical world, there would be no darkness. There would be nothing but balance and no darkness. And this would not work on planet Earth, of course, because we are here to have free will and learn our lessons. So Samek was asked to stay at the throne of God, way up in the heavens in the cosmos. It's a beautiful story. And here's another little picture of Samek, which will be relevant, being pictured in the light of the sun. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to this picture, just a little bit more backstory, because I think this letter is beautiful. Like I think all the letters are beautiful. Like I said, Samek was asked to stay in the cosmos, the throne of God, and where this is, Samek exists in one of these three veils. And the first veil, the inner veil, is called Ein, and it is the highest and first of the veils. It's literally translated as nothing or simply no. It is the absolute emptiness, the opposite of existence. It's complete absence. It is the negative space. And it is said to be the I am that is and the I am that is not. And the Ein is Brahman, the supreme self, and it is the uncreated light. And then the next level is Ein Sof, the next veil. And this is where Samek rides. Samek is this second veil. And the Ein Sof is this spinning energy that emerges from the darkness, this void, this great emptiness, this non-existent space. And it is now the light. When God said, let there be light, Samek came around. And so Samek is this limitless and boundaryless light of God. It is the light, however, prior to any manifestations. However, Samek carries the potential for creation into the next lower veil, which is called Ein Sof Or. So Samek is the uncreated light, but is the vehicle with which the creative light can create. I hope that makes sense. So the next lower veil, which is Ein Sof Or, is situated closest to the tree of life, as you see here, right? The bottom tree of life is man. And the Ein Sof Or means light, and it's the Christ light, but it's also known as the solar light. It's called the solar absolute. So Samek rides in on and creates the ability for the solar energy to reach us into the physical world. I hope that makes sense. So we have the sun, which we see from a 3D vantage point, but the sun actually exists in the 7th dimension. What else do we know as the carrier of light, or also known as the carrier of light? Well, Lucifer, which literally means light bearer or light carrier. So Lucifer is Samek. Lucifer is nothing bad, despite what you may have heard. Lucifer is the bearer of light. Samek is also the Christ. All these words are synonymous with Samek, Christ, Lucifer, because Christ is the anointed one. Hard to say when you have a stuffed up nose and you can't breathe. The anointed one is anointed in light. Okay, and of course, this is why we say Samek is our vital energy, because as you see, it is the carrier of the solar energy that creates and helps us with our vital force. Let me stop share. And speaking of our vital energy, so Samek is beautifully descending from the heavens into our own body. And hopefully during the day, we are outside, we are receiving some solar energy from the sun. And that solar energy is penetrating into our subtle vital bodies or subtle bodies. And if we are not squandering that energy via ego reactions, then we squander that energy throughout the day most of the time because we're out there externally focused. Our ego energy going out is out there having reactions. It's looking for sustenance and stability through external sources, so we are giving away all of this solar vital energy during the day. Okay, but that solar energy is being held in our subtle bodies so that at night when we are sleeping, that solar energy is transferred via the chakras into our organs, and then at night we are revitalized, and hopefully we hold on to our energy the next day. And this whole story, I'm telling you about this because in the Gene Keys it talks about the Promethean fire, and the whole myth about Prometheus, this is where we get Prometheus, is during the day. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you that the solar energy is stored where else? In our abdomen, in the organs of our solar plexus. Okay, and those organs would be the kidneys, liver, and spleen, which are the main organs that absorb this solar energy from the atmosphere and transport. God, I can't even talk. Sorry about that. I'm having a tough time breathing. Anyway, so this is where we get the Promethean myth that during the day, he's tied to the rocks, and during the day, the vultures are coming and eating his livers and his organs in his belly. Of course, that's us letting the ego, taking all of our energy externally and losing our vital life force, right? Because we are reacting and all that sort of stuff. And at nighttime, Prometheus is regenerated. And of course, that's us. Every night we are regenerated. We get that internal fire, but then once again, during the day, the vultures come out and we lose it. Okay, so that's the story of Prometheus. And what else? I thought I would talk a little tiny bit of chemistry here. Look, I know very little about this, so bear with me, but it's something fascinating. So we know that Lucifer and Samek and Christ are all synonymous, talking about light. But phosphorus is also related to these three words because the root word, Greek root word for phosphorus means light carrier. So phosphorus, Lucifer, Samek, and Christopher, there's a Christophorus, all means light bearer, light carrier. So why is phosphorus important in this story with Samek? Well, we have phosphorus is an element within us, of course. It helps build bones and teeth, but it does other stuff. It's a highly reactive element, and there are different colors of phosphorus. And the white phosphorus, which would be that second veil, which would be Samek, which is that brilliant white light, right? The whitest of white lights coming out from the darkness. This would be the white phosphorus, and it's the least stable and most reactive and self-igniting. So it catches on fire. So it's just like the Ouroboros, just like Samek. However, when this white phosphorus is met with oxygen, so we can say that when Samek is descending down into the physical world and in our bodies, and we breathe, this white phosphorus turns red, is also highly reactive. It's not self-igniting. I suppose something in there can be where the people catch on fire by themselves, something about this phosphorus and light. I don't know. There's something there. I don't know. But anyway, so when the white light is brought into physical form and we add our breath to it, then we get glowing in the dark reds with little hints of blue. Why am I telling you all this? There was a reason, and I'm forgetting. It must be the allergy meds. Yeah, so I had this is purely speculation on my part, but when we see certain lights in meditation, there are different colors mean different levels of awareness or subtle bodies that we're seeing. For example, I think black is the physical body, or red is the physical body, or the astral body. And as you go up through the layers, and then oftentimes, particularly when Kundalini is active in somebody, you get flashes of that brilliant white, clear light. But then there are other lights that I've seen people see. There's a white with a golden energy. So you can see with the red phosphorus, perhaps when we're in meditation and we're in our inner column, we're in our inner being, and the breath and the oxygen is working, perhaps it's having a reaction, or the phosphorus is reacting to this, and we're catching glimpses. And perhaps, I don't know, we're having phosphoric reactions that are related to the levels of awareness. I don't know. But perhaps if we see the red dots, red spheres, then we're catching a glimpse of the astral body. When we see the white with the golden behind it, then we're at that third veil, right? Where Samek is coming through the third veil and it's catching the solar absolute energy. And then when we see that brilliant white diamond light, then we are actually at the second veil, just before non-existence, okay? The first veil, okay? So I thought that might be fascinating to share with you. Okay, and this is why, there are processes known as the breath of fire that you can activate in your body, or that comes up, it has come up for me a couple of times just by itself. I didn't make it happen, called the breath of fire. When Kundalini wants to burn something away, you start breathing really fast. It's fascinating. So anyway, Samek this month will be very important. Oh, and I forgot to mention, speaking about solar energy, the last couple of days, it's so brilliant. Samek is really, you can see how it's working. The last couple of days, the KP index, which measures the amount of solar wind, has been much lower than it is normally. And when it's much lower, and here we are in the first gene key, it causes a state of entropy for people, depression. It can make your heart electrical system go a little haywire, and it definitely brings up deep all the darkness within. So if you're feeling a little depressed, a little wonky, you don't have any energy, this is all due to the lack of solar wind that has been able to reach us here and reach our subtle bodies and energize us from within. But it's also stirring up our darkness. So during this time, it would be best to breathe, go within, create your own light, and burn away that darkness that is coming out. Okay, what else? And finally, so if you're beginning to see the number 15 a lot in your life, perhaps it shows up. On the positive side, the 15 may be telling you that you are in a state of inner stability. It creates, when you are in touch with your own inner light, it creates inner stability, devotion to life, and inner faith. You can definitely feel God within. You have a sense of drive and purpose for life, and definitely a sense of security. And when you're feeling secure and have purpose, then that all gives you a deep sense of freedom and connection to the whole, as well as, of course, energizing your whole being. However, if you are not in touch with your inner being and breathing, then you may feel a sense of self-doubt, not trusting yourself, not trusting your feelings. You definitely can't feel God within. I don't know, I've been experiencing all of this the last couple of days, so I know this well. Not trusting yourself, always seeking advice externally. There's a deep insecurity, not even feeling safe on the planet, in your own body. Low energy, for sure. Not feeling a sense of purpose in life. And there's also this sense of never being satisfied. And perhaps can be a little blunt with people when you're interacting with them. And also, this creates an inability to meditate. You just don't, you don't feel like going within, you don't feel safe. So that's how the 15 could show up in the negative and the positive. So during this month, when Samek is around, breathe deep, go within and find your own internal Ouroboros. And I feel certain you will find beauty and bounteousness wherever you go. Until next time.